Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We are back again and we're going to be discussing lots of Arsenal news, lots of Arsenal stuff right in this video because we are only now 6 points off there from Liverpool and Chelsea. Can you believe it? We are only 6 points of the top two, and the title race is really charging on. We'll be discussing that last because yesterday Liverpool there failing to beat Leicester City and failing to score a goal in their first game in a period of 8 months. We'll be discussing that lot. Of course, the return of Gnabry is also a topic that is really hitting up. Coutinho there in the news. Mikel Arteta has given a green light for us to sign him there. Renato Sanchez talks progressing. We're also going to be looking at the latest around there, and obviously the new strikers Calvert-Lewin and Jonathan David, who Thierry Henry says he should be the next striker at Arsenal Football Club. My name is Cossy. We're going to be discussing much of that. But of course, before we get into that, lads, yesterday we got to 35,000 subscribers. It was a really massive day. We were live and I thought we were never going to do it. But since right from 0 now to 35,000 subscribers, obviously our target is really bigger than this, but I cannot ignore such a milestone. I really cannot ignore such a point. When we get to 35,000 subscribers, I never dreamt of that. I thought it would never happen. There we are at 35,000 subscribers within 2 years. You never know. Next year we're gonna be at 70. We're gonna be at 80. You never know. But really lads, you are a big family, and we are really growing well. So if you have not subscribed, please make sure you drop a subscription on the channel. And obviously, lads, the lads that really drop likes on these videos, you help them to get to more people, to more subscribers, and you really help the channel out. I'm going to say a massive thank you to all you people. Thank you so much. 35,000 subscribers. I never thought we'll be here. But anyway, lads, before we start the content, let's also forget, let's not forget Melbet, who was saying that if you want to bet with them, if you want to earn some little money, please do make sure you register with them. Link is in the video description. Bet with them, just earn a little money. And like I've already said, bet responsibly. Do not just put all your money there, because capital is at stake. It could go up, it could go down. But of course, if you want to earn some extra money of your passion, just get in there, Melbet, sign up with them. A few games Arsenal will be playing Manchester City. I think it's the first time we will score in a big game this time, in a big game against Manchester City. I think we will score. We didn't score against Liverpool. We didn't score against Manchester City in the first leg. We didn't score against Chelsea, but in this one, I think we'll score. I don't know whether we'll win, but of course we will have to both teams discuss. So make sure you sign up with Melbet. Let's get to the content, lads, because yesterday Liverpool actually gave us a very big advantage in our hopes for the Champions League, because they dropped points against Leicester City, and now we are only 6 points behind Liverpool and 6 points behind Chelsea. You can imagine that we are on the same number of games as Chelsea and Liverpool. It's crazy because at the beginning of the season, these clubs were 9 points ahead of us. We had lost 3 games, we had conceded 9 goals, and we were in a total devastated form. But now Liverpool dropping points. Guys, look, I'm not really hoping that Arsenal will overtake Liverpool or things like that, but it is really positive. It shows you how developing and how good the process that we are actually developing at the moment is. 6 points behind Liverpool. They've been lethal. They have failed to score in a game in 8 months. That is when they failed to score in a game. So you can see how good they've been. But then Arsenal trailing right behind Liverpool, 6 points behind them. If they slip, because the next game they play will be Chelsea, if they continue to drop points, they're going to be losing players. Mane, Salah, Keita, they'll be losing players there in January to AFCON. And of course, their main source of goals is Salah and Mane. If they cannot find goals in Salah and Mane, it's really gonna be very hard. They're gonna struggle with this COVID-19 period. You never know. Arsenal might catch up with Liverpool, because guys, for me, when I looked at that, I was really impressed with how Arsenal have been really performing, and the way we have closed on Chelsea and Liverpool without having games in hand actually, but on the same number of games and 6 points just behind them. You never know, if Chelsea do not win, maybe Arsenal beat Manchester City, it could be a very, very different story. But right now, let's get to the transfers live, because a lot of talk is actually happening around transfers. I'll start off with Dusan Vlahovic and the comments from Gianluca Di Marzio. Di Marzio has actually come out and said that the project Arsenal are running is not attracting Dusan Vlahovic, and a couple of projects that will attract the player include Manchester City, Manchester United, and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, according to Gianluca Di Marzio, he said Tottenham there, they do have a manager, they do have Antonio Conte, they have a very, very serious manager, and that is the reason as to why Vlahovic is much interested in going there to Tottenham Hotspur rather than Arsenal. Yesterday, lads, I was really, really disappointed. I wanted to do a live stream about this video, but about this topic, but I was really, really disappointed. You cannot say Spurs at this point in time do have a better project than we have. Yes, they have a manager. They will be spending huge amounts of money in January and in the summer. But at the moment, at this point in time, Arsenal, we have a project that is really, really moving forward. At this point in time, really, I'm going to say, lads, I might never do a video about Dusan Vlahovic ever again, because I do not understand how a player comes out and he says that our project is really worse than that of Tottenham Hotspur. How many players, how many quality players are there in that Tottenham Hotspur side? Yes, they do have a manager. I do respect that. But if you look at how our project is developing, how our players are really, really, really developing together, I think there is a misunderstanding there. But anyway, according to Gianluca Di Marzio, the player does not want to join the Arsenal project. He would rather go to Spurs, he would rather go to Manchester City and Manchester United. I do understand with United, I do understand with Manchester City. United do have a very, very good squad. If they can get in a striker, I think they will even be better. City as well, they already have an amazing squad, already an amazing side there. They just need a striker, they just need someone to bang in the goals, and everything is gonna be okay. But for Spurs, to compare Arsenal to Spurs at the moment, I really cannot compare ourselves to Spurs. Yes, they are really, really doing well under Antonio Conte and things like that, but at the moment I think we are very, very clear of them, and I think no one has the can have the capacity to compare us to Spurs at the moment. But anyway, there, lads, Vlahovic looks like will be joining another team, not Arsenal. And in that light, Thierry Henry has come out and said Arsenal should be signing the man himself, Jonathan David. Of course, he's the man there, the Arsenal legend, who came out and said we should be signing Albert Sambi-Lokonga, and of course he was really, he is really, really, a big talent there. Now he's come out and said he will be trying to convince Jonathan David to sign for Arsenal, and Arsenal should be going for Jonathan David there, the man at Lille Metropole, 55 million euros. That is the price that has been set by Lille Metropole. If you want the player, if you want to try to get Jonathan David there, it is 55 million euros. And according to Thierry Henry, he is the man that should be joining Arsenal there. But of course, according to a couple of reports there in the UK, the priority of Arsenal is going to be shifting from Dusan Vlahovic to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Of course, we know it is a lot of talk around Calvert-Lewin. Mikel Arteta really, really loves the player. Edu also loves the player. And of course, if it's not for the injury this season, we were going to see a very, very different Calvert-Lewin. Many Arsenal fans there do love him. I don't rate him that much like I would rate Vlahovic, or I would rate any other player like Alexander Isak. But what I'm going to say, he has the Premier League touch, he has the Premier League experience, he's been there at Everton, and he's one of those players that can really, really impact our game. His hold-up play is absolutely lit. A number of goals he really, really scored is not really impressive, because the most number of goals he scored in a season is around 16, and that was last season. But anyway, you never know. Calvert-Lewin or Jonathan David, both of them now linked to be leading the rest in priorities for joining Arsenal as a striker. Vlahovic deal is finally, it looks like it would be finally off. His agent really doesn't believe in Arsenal, and the player as well does not believe in the project that we are running. Now, I want us to talk about Gnabry's return to Arsenal, because that is another thing that's really, really creating lots and lots of talk around around the internet and around the club. Now, what is happening? Bayern Munich are interested in getting in Rafinha from Leeds, and of course, a couple of days ago, reports were flying around that Bayern Munich had agreed a fee of around 50 million euros with Leeds to sign the player. However, according to the transfer checker, that is not true. There is no agreement at the moment between Bayern and Leeds. The player is interested in joining Bayern, and Bayern are also interested in getting in the Rafinha there at the Allianz Arena. But there is nothing like an agreement. But what is being rumored there, lads, is that if Rafinha joins Bayern Munich, they will be letting go of one or two players, and that could be Gnabry and Kingsley Coman. Kingsley Coman already come out and told Bayern Munich he doesn't want to stay with them. Come the summer, he's going to be moving on, and Real Madrid is the club that he wants to join there. The man himself, Kingsley Coman. Gnabry is left with 1 year on his contract. No talks at the moment to extend his contract, and that is what is actually creating a lot of bubbles, a lot of ripple effects there in the Arsenal fan base. They believe the player has a lot of unfinished business there at the carpet at London, and they believe if he can come back, that could be a massive boost, to the project we are running there at Arsenal Football Club. One or two things I'm going to say about Gnabry. Can he rejoin Arsenal? I think he is in the right age. He's really developed well at Bayern. He can join Arsenal because the project we're having at the moment, he is just at that age, he's just at that level. But again, if you think about it, that's very critically, Gnabry coming back to Arsenal from Bayern, it really doesn't make any sense. He's having one of the best young managers there in the world. In the world at Bayern. I don't see him, leaving that opportunity to join Mikel Arteta. Maybe yes, maybe no. He's already German. He's already playing at a high level in Germany for the biggest club in Germany. Of course, we know if you're a German player, your ultimate dream is to play for Bayern. Your ultimate dream is to play for the biggest team there in the German Bundesliga, in German football, and that is Bayern Munich. He's already achieved that at a very young age. I do not see him dropping such an opportunity, dropping it away, throwing it away to come and rejoin Arsenal. But of course, I'm going to say the project we have there is very attractive. You never know. Edu wants the player. Mikel Arteta loves the player. Everyone in the world. There's nowhere Gnabry would go and never play football. Even if it's Liverpool, even if it's Madrid, even if it's Barcelona, there is nowhere he would go and not play. Maybe at Manchester City because they have a lot of quality in there. But apart from City, I do not see anywhere Gnabry doesn't fit in. He's so talented, he's so good, he's really developed well in the last 5 years. Arsenal taking back Gnabry, it would be a very good deal personally, but I do not see that happen because the talk is there around the carpet, the man coming back to the carpet. You never know. Let's wait and see what's gonna come out of that. William Saliba's future is also now very clear. It looks like William Saliba will be coming back in the summer. Now, there've been a lot of talks around Saliba coming back in January. That is absolutely out of the picture. That is absolutely not true. He won't be coming back to the club in January. He'll be coming back to the club there in the summer. And of course, it looks like he's going to stay with the club when he comes back in the summer. He might sign a new contract. I think there's going to be a very big war there between Mikel Arteta and Saliba. Can he make him sign a new contract? Obviously, he needs it. Obviously, we need to give him a new contract. But can we convince him? Can we convince a player who have really abandoned, who have really not given a chance in the last 3 years? Can we convince him to sign a new contract? Really interesting stuff. And I will be waiting to see what comes out of that window because it's going to be very interesting. But of course, William Saliba will be coming back Arsenal. He won't be signing on a permanent for Olympique Marseille. It's the same. It is the same situation with Matteo Guendouzi. Guendouzi, on the other hand, wants to stay at Marseille, and that is final. Of course, we have an agreement in principle with Marseille that if the player does well and Marseille do not get relegated, they will be paying around 10 to 15 million euros to take the player there at a very cheap bargain price. I was fuming there in the summer, and I'm still fuming when I think about the price. It is still very low. But anyway, lads, Matteo Guendouzi, high chances are he will be staying there in Marseille, at Marseille in France. But of course, William Saliba, talks for him to sign on a permanent will not be happening. Yes, it was reported that Arsenal will be holding talks with Olympique Marseille in the summer to see a permanent deal for the player, but that is is absolute trash. It won't be happening down there. And of course, now lads, moving on to the latest, the biggest stories that are happening around the Arsenal. Mikel Arteta has reportedly given a green light to Arsenal to sign Philippe Coutinho. Of course, there's been a lot of talk whether the manager will be using the player and things like that. But I've already said Mikel Arteta is a big, huge fan of Philippe Coutinho. He has given a green light for us to sign him. What is going to come out of that deal, I do not know yet. But of course, talks are still progressing between Arsenal and the agent of the player. Barcelona, they're already ready to let the player go. They will be paying some of the wages of the player. That is how desperate they are to let him go. Of course, they brought in Ferran Torres. They need to let go of some deadwood. That is their strategy. Get rid of the deadwood, bring in some new players, younger talent, and give it to Xavi. Trust Xavi. In Xavi, they trust. So probably they will be getting back to the top anytime soon. And of course, Renato Sanchez talks are also progressing really steadily there. Talks between Edu and the agent are very positive. Lille Metropo are still waiting for that bid. They are still waiting for that for that official offer. The moment it comes in, Arsenal will get Renato Sanchez. So basically, lads, that is what's happening today in the morning around the football club. Serge Gnabry, Renato, Jonathan David, and a couple of things like that. We'll be speaking much more later in the day. Make sure you smash a like on the video. And I'm going to say once again, thank you so much for those 35,000 subscribers. If you can get to 36, I'll be the happiest YouTuber in the world.